Hello, and welcome back to Wardrobes and Writing. I'm Dr. Jennifer Jones, an expert writing coach. As you can see, my background's a bit different now. I recorded the first 6 videos before we moved house, and now we are still in the process of getting settled in the new place. I don't even have a desk yet. My computer's on top of a stack of boxes, but we make do with what we have. And today we are here to talk about working with your beta readers, or as the British listeners would say, beta readers. I'm never going to remember to say that in the British way, so you're just going to have to live with my American pronunciation. So what are beta readers? You've likely heard of beta testing, where people will test a product before it's ready to be fully on the market. Your beta readers work the same way for your book. Their job is to check that your book makes sense to people who are like your ideal reader, and importantly, are not in your head, because you need to make sure your book's going to make sense to other people, not just to you. So your beta readers are not your editors, and you need to make very clear to them that you're not expecting them to copy edit your text. Some of them will still point out, spelling errors, punctuation errors, whatever, but make it clear to them that you will be sending your book to an editor. We'll talk about that next week. But you want feedback from them on the content of your book. So you want them to answer questions like, are there any points in the book where it feels like you jump from one idea to another and they're not sure about the connection or how to get from one step to the next? You also want to know which parts of the book they really enjoyed, so you can look at what you did there and do more of that. If you download the PDF called How Long Does It Actually Take to Write a Book, in the description below, you will get to a list of questions that you can ask your beta readers. You are free to just use my list or adapt it to suit your needs in your book. Whenever you're choosing your beta readers, you need to make sure that they do have a lot in common with your ideal reader. So most of you will be writing an expert book to help your current and future clients. Those would be excellent people to approach to be beta readers. You also, though, need to make sure that they're not at either extreme. You don't want your beta readers to be your biggest cheerleaders, because at this point, you need honest feedback. You don't need someone who's going to say, oh, it's brilliant, you wrote it, it's great. You need them, if there's something wrong, to be able to gently say, well, in this part, I'm not sure what you're talking about. So you don't want them to be cheerleaders, but you also don't want the people who are going to find fault for the sake of finding fault, because that's not useful either. Those people will have you going around fixing things that aren't broken. So you need them to be sort of in the middle as much as possible, and to have a lot in common with your ideal readers. You also need to make sure you ask enough people to be beta readers that you actually get enough feedback. Enough feedback for most authors is going to be, between 3 to 5 people who actually feed back to you. So if you're aiming for 3, ask 6 people. You might get all 6, but there's a good chance you won't, because life gets in the way. People will agree to be your beta reader with the best intentions in the world, but then stuff comes up and they just aren't able to follow through. So ask more people than you need so that you get the feedback you need for your book. And you don't have to waste your time or theirs chasing them up asking, have you read my book yet? Because if they've either landed a big client or job at work and they don't have time, or the other end, they've had a family crisis, they don't have time to bother with your book. As important as your book is to you, it's not theirs. So you need to have enough people that half of them can get busy and forget about it. For compensating your beta readers, this work generally isn't paid, but it is nice to offer them, a free workshop or a free session with you, or a free copy of the book. You can decide for yourself how you want to compensate them. And ask your beta readers to be your first reviewers, because getting reviews on your book early, like the day it hits Amazon, is very important for sales. So these people will have already read your book. They will already be on side. They should be able to quickly write a review. As an author, this stage is kind of weird and scary and exciting all at once. This is the first time you're sending your book out for somebody else to read. So it means it's done. Well done. You've got a book. But now you have to let it go out into the world where other people are going to have opinions about it. So make sure you have some moral support around you for dealing with whatever feelings come up. You're probably going to feel all of them, sometimes all at once, and that can be a bit much to process. So make sure you have the support you need in place to be able to do that. Also remember that during this time that your beta readers have your book, and give them about 4 weeks. That's enough time to read the book and feedback, but not enough time that they will just completely forget about it. So you've got 4 weeks where your book's with other people, so you don't have to do a lot with it. You can use that time to keep building your audience so that you have an audience to launch it to, but you won't have any writing or editing or anything to do. And then whenever you get it back from your beta readers, not all at once, but give yourself a total of about 5 hours to read their feedback, sit with it for a day or two, and then decide which bits you're going to apply. Your beta readers are giving you their opinion. That doesn't mean you have to apply every suggestion they give you. You will find that sometimes their suggestions clash, so you couldn't possibly apply everything. Your book is your book. You're asking your beta readers for feedback so that you have outside opinions, and you need to be willing to take that on board and remember that they are responding to your book, not to you as a person. It doesn't matter what anyone says about your book, either at this stage or after publication, whether they say it's brilliant or it's terrible. They're talking about the book. They're not talking about you. That's hard to remember as an author, but it is a process, and do keep trying to remind yourself of that. So read their feedback, give yourself a day or two to let it sink in, process, then think rationally, not emotionally, about which bits you're going to apply to your book, and take a couple of hours to do that. In most cases, the beta reader feedback doesn't come back and require a complete and total rewrite. If that were the case, you would need more than 5 hours, but it almost never happens. And if you do feel like you need a complete and total rewrite, get a professional perspective. So ask an editor to look at it and just give you a sort of book assessment rather than a copy edit, or contact a writing coach like me. I'm an editor too, so I'm happy to do either coach you through it or give you a written assessment of your book. If your beta readers do suggest full rewrite, get professional opinion before you just launch into completely rewriting. Your beta readers might be right, but they might also have misunderstood what you were asking them to do. So this is a big step. It is not usually very involved, time intensive on your part, but it is emotional. So take the month that your beta readers have the book and take care of yourself, and get excited about the next stage in your book. I'll be back next week to talk about working with editors. And hopefully next week I'll be able to say editors more easily. So until then, happy writing.